Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. I'm your host, Christine Innett, and I'm super excited to have this divine man come back and join me again. Raj, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again. It's my pleasure.
I'm so excited, and we spoke a little bit about your journey beforehand, but I just want to give you the introduction that you totally deserve. You're an international keynote speaker, you're an author, and also a tech career coach, which I've been following your journey with your book, so I'm super excited for when that to come out as well. But, I really do admire you. And I just also want to say thank you so much for sharing your story in the September issue of the Corporate Escapist magazine as well. And I know that that's really going to inspire and motivate so many people. So thank you so much.
And thank you for the opportunity when we're living in unprecedented times. You find different ways to make an impact, and your magazine helps to bring our stories to limelight and helps to pass on the inspiration to other people who need it during this time as well. So thanks for that. So I should thank you, actually.
Oh, no, my absolute pleasure. Like, I was super excited to have you in the magazine. And, you know, I, I talk about you quite a lot to a lot of people because I really resonate a lot with your story, even though we're like, it's very different what we've been through. But I think we were just talking previously off camera is that, one of the key players that's really helped you has been mindset, but also how you've been able to adapt. And, we've obviously all going through the COVID, we're all going through different changes, you've got a baby, like, all these different things that, have happening. But, it comes back to some real key fundamentals, which I feel at the moment is that people need to really draw upon those so much more, and mindset being one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, definitely. I believe there are two key factors which I have followed in my life to get through situations like this, like COVID. So right now it was COVID, and then before we had in 2008 we had a recession. Then in 2001 or 2002 we had a whole IT .com bubble, and we have mortgage crisis. So there are always going to be things like this, and during those times there were two things which have helped me get through the situation and look for different opportunities. One, as you said, is mindset. And to be more specific, it's about mindset shift because you need to adapt your mindset based on the surroundings. That is really important. And another one is consistency, showing up every day, no matter what. Good day, you show up, bad day, you show up, and still keep doing what you're doing, right? And this I learned from, there have been a lot of obstacles in my life, just like in your life and other people I've talked to as well. But in each of these obstacles and situations, I've used these two approaches to get me out. So, for example, you know this, and I've talked about this quite a bit in my previous episode as well, where in 2008, when we had a recession, I came to the US as an immigrant, and literally a week uh, before I came to the US, or a week after I came to the US, the recession started in 2008. And getting jobs were really hard, just like how we are facing job opportunity problems right now. And from the beginning of 2009 till end of 2009, I applied for 1,293 jobs, right? And how was I able to do that? Because I did a mindset change where I had two options: either give up and go back to where I came from, or do whatever it takes and see how we can make best use of this situation. What are the opportunities out there? What are the loopholes out there which people haven't thought about, right? So that's that key lesson I learned in 2008. Pretty much, I've used that story and what I did to adapt to even the current situation, which is the COVID situation, where I had huge plans. 2020 was supposed to be my year. I had 5 keynotes in some of the largest software conferences in the world. I was going to speak in front of 1,500 people, and one of the conference it had 2,000 people. I was the main speaker. I thought this is it. 2020 is my time, and people now see me as a keynote speaker, but it takes about 2.5 years to nurture that relationship and get to that level because I'm competing with so many other great speakers, right? So, anyways, the point is, then COVID happened, and pretty much now I'm doing the video talk, and it's just like me and you talking right now, and I'm not speaking in front of 1,500 people, right? So, lot of obstacles like that happen in 2020 during COVID. So again, I look for opportunities where I thought, okay, it's shitty right now. What else can I do? So that's when I was telling you about this, where I thought about writing a book, because a lot of people, at least in the US, in the US alone, for example, 30 million jobs have been lost. And I'm a tech career coach. I help people in the tech industry help to find their dream job and become successful leaders. When I'm coaching people about it, why not share that information to help other people as well? So book was never writing a book was never in the plan. So I pivoted, right? So just to summarize what I was saying, it's all about mindset change and consistency, and then trying to pivot based on the situation. And that's pretty much how I've taken each and every obstacle and then pushed through it pretty much.
And I think it's so true because, I mean, in anybody in business right now, or anybody, even as an employee, you sit there and you can go, I can either live how everything is going and it's all topsy turvy and that, or can I see an opportunity that's in front of me? And sometimes those opportunities, until you actually say you're open to them, they're not going to be presented, or you can't even see them. Or sometimes we've just got to look outside the box. So instead of actually having our blinkers on, we've actually got to look outside and see the scope a little bit different. When that's one of the things that I really do admire about you, because you could have back then, when you first came to America, just gone, you know what, it's too hard. I can't do this. I'm just going to go back. But instead, you've gone, okay, I'm going to shift that story. I'm going to shift that belief, and I'm going to apply myself, because I know that there are opportunities out there. And sometimes it is just that hard work that we've got to do. Like, one of the big things that I get frustrated with sometimes is that people go, oh, look at all this overnight success. I'm like, going, hang on a second. There is hard work
Right.
that I've put
Exactly.
in. And it's not just the business work, it is all that personal development that we've had to do underneath as well for it to happen. And so this is why I really do resonate with what you're saying, is because, it's that mindset change, but also the consistency and showing up on the days when, look, there's days when I just want to curl up on the couch and just watch Netflix. Like, I am not
Right.
going to lie, there,
And
there,
that's
there
okay
really
too.
is. It,
And
it
that's okay
certainly,
too.
it certainly is. But I still show up, and I still have
Right.
to do the things that I need to do when, there's stuff that I don't like doing. But to be successful in life and also in business, there are things that you have to do. So I completely agree with everything you say, and do that. And
And
this
just
is,
to and just to add to what you're saying, I think another um, learning which I have gathered from these experiences was adversities actually give you opportunities. And as you were saying, people are not open to receiving it. That's because they have the blinders on, right? So, again, for example, let's take 2020, because everyone talks about 2020, right? And I had this plan to start a new coaching program. And then, and of course, I had keynote talks. And then I had so many other stuff which I want to do with my business, right? And then because COVID happened, I started thinking, okay, this is the thing, everything is going to be online. And yeah, of course, for the first 2 weeks, I was disappointed, depressed, because, of course, all my opportunities, were going away in front of my eyes. But then I thought, you know what? I'm coming from a place of scarcity right now because I'm in fear, I'm anxious, my mind is not clear. I need to shift that into a place of abundance where there's so many opportunities. It's just that I have to take the time to think about it. And that's how I started thinking about one is for social media. I was never that active on social media before. Like I was doing like 2 or 3 posts per week. Now every day since first week of April, literally every day I've been posting. That would not have happened if I didn't consider these adversities and then find opportunities in them. Then the book writing. Uh, I was telling you just before we were talking that I have a infant, like a 11-year-old, 11-month-old baby, and of course with COVID, he cannot go to daycare. So literally, he's been with us for close to 9 months without going to daycare, and he just started going to daycare. And during these times, my wife was working full time. I was working full time with running my business and doing stuff. But in spite of that, I thought, you know what? What can I do in this time? Although all these things are happening, that's when I came up with the book idea, which I was just talking about. And every day, from first week of April to end of May for 2 months, from 9 to 10 p.m., 9 to 10:30 p.m., I wrote 1,500 to 2,000 words every day. All those things would not have happened if I didn't just sit back and think about, okay, how am I going to make this situation better for me, and how am I going to make an impact? Because I keep talking about making an impact, but just because some obstacle came in your way, you can stop what you're doing, right? Life does not stop because COVID happens, and then in 5 years something else is going to happen. The only thing you can do is keep pushing through these obstacles, and that's what differentiates people who we call legends and people who want to become legends, because you need to do the work to become a legend. You need to do legendary work, right? And that's what it's all about. Just wanted to add that as well, because that's how I've been taking this whole situation currently.
Yeah, I love that. What my I've I've got a mentor and I absolutely adore working with her. And one of the things
Mhm.
that she has taught me is that we either, there's no such thing as failure. It's all about lessons and it's about learning from them. And I think that, during everything that's been happening with COVID, it is all a learning lesson. It is learning me, like you said about social media, like I've been more active on social media because I'm not going to meetings face to face,
Yeah,
so I'm actually saving time during the day by not driving around to all of the different meetings because they are online. So I'm actually gained more time in my day because of that. And I see that now as such a great opportunity because not only am I saving money on fuel, I'm,
right,
not having to, run around and, all those different things. So that to me is, just such a great learning lesson. And it's also made me even appreciate more the time that I'm having. So I think that, what you're saying is that we also need to learn from everything. And, you know, life changes so quickly as well, and it's not just like you
right.
said, COVID. Something else is going to happen, and when you start a family, you start realizing too, oh my god, this baby, they're not always predictable of when they're sleeping as well. So I've been there and done that, so I totally understand it. So
Right. But- and for people who are watching, I'm not saying that, man, you have to be a saint and no matter whatever situation happens, you need to get through it. No, you have to endure that pain, feel shitty. I feel shitty. You can be depressed. You have to give permission to be depressed, be uh, feeling bad, and then feeling that things have been taken away from you. You need to go through that, because that was a mistake which I was committing till about 2 years ago, where whenever I face adversities, I would say, you know what, just suck it up. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. But the problem is people do not give time to embrace that feeling of sadness or guilt or whatever that may be. So, for people watching, I'm not saying that uh, even when adversities come, there's always going to be success, and then you always find the opportunity. You need to be depressed, be sad, but then you have to pass through that phase and then do something about it, because no one is going to change your life situation. You are the person who can make the change, right? And that's why I always say that circumstances, you cannot control the circumstances, but you can control your actions under any circumstances. And that is so true. And you are in control of your life. You are in control of what you do in any situation. So give yourself some time to go through the emotions, but then also take some mental space, get some mental space, and think about, okay, how can I make best use of this current situation? So that's what I'm talking about here as well. And that's what you are kind of echoing that as well through your experiences. So just wanted to put that out there.
I think that is so powerful. If anyone takes anything away, that is the biggest thing. Because I think that during life, we get so busy. First of all, we don't understand the different emotions. So sitting and feeling it, sinking into it, and giving yourself permission to feel that is one of the most powerful things to do. I realized that when I left the corporate world, I was so numb. I actually didn't realize what my emotions were because I had sort of cut myself off so much. The other thing that you said, which I think is, really important, is that if you don't give yourself permission to feel that, you're not going to be able to have those learning lessons for you to be able to come out of the other side. So that to me is probably the biggest game changer, because you can't change your mindset unless you allow yourself to feel all of it that's come through.
Because no one talks about feelings,
No.
especially for men. No one talks about
Mm.
feelings. Men think they're indestructible. And there's this amazing book which I'm currently reading from Brene Brown. You probably would have read or heard about it. It's called Rising Strong. It's about how showing vulnerability
Mm.
makes you more successful and makes you a better human being, rather than blocking those emotions, right?
Mm.
And men, especially men, feel that, I'm the boss, I'm the man of the house, and no matter what happens, I have to suck up everything inside me and then just keep going. But what happens eventually by doing that is they keep going, 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 and then it's like a like car going in full speed, then hitting a wall, and the impact is going to be really hard, really bad when the car goes in full speed and hits a wall. Then putting the brake in the car, and then seeing whether cars are coming, then putting a brake on the car, and then seeing things are coming. So that's how life should be. It shouldn't be like a car crash. And that's what I tell people. And I think men, it's about time that they show vulnerability. And even influencers and people who make an impact, they always talk about, yeah, be successful. This is the way you do it. Yeah, yeah. But no one actually talks about feelings or vulnerability. And that is something which I've been doing more, because I speak at so many conferences, events, and company events mainly. And when I talk to people on a one-on-one basis, they tell me this, saying that you shared your story about depression, anxiety, and not a lot of people do that. And you gave me permission to do that now, because I can see that you are doing it and you are speaking in front of 1,000 people and admitting you're not perfect. And that gives me confidence. And those words stuck to my heart. And that's why I've been encouraging other people and my friends who are influencers as well to show up currently, especially during these times where people are feeling depressed, where there's some racial stuff going on. You need to show up and then let people know that things are okay or not okay, or whether what feelings you're going through, and it's okay to feel those things. You need to show up as a person, as an influencer now. So that is
Mm.
something I would highly encourage people to do that as well, because it makes you a better human being, and also giving opportunity for thousands of other people to get out of their shell and come out and experience those feelings as well.
Yeah, I look, honestly, just give yourself permission. I think that is so incredible powerful because, you are so right with, when we talk about it, we're shedding that light for other people. And, we're the only ones, you said it before, we're the only ones that can change our lives. So sometimes it is just actually allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to, feel crappy, to feel good, to, change how we want to change. And look, I have pity parties. I literally will
Right.
have a pity party where I put on a crappy movie. I know that I'm going to have a good cry. I have the junk food in front of me. Like, I go all out. So I am there, So there are those moments, and you need to allow yourself to do it,
Right.
because life is not perfect. And, I've removed the word perfection out of my vocabulary because it does not exist. It is unattainable because we're always striving for something more, but it's actually striving something within ourselves. It's not for anybody else. We actually have to strive it for ourselves and what we want from our life, not by what society thinks, not by what friends and family or, what you've read in a book. It's what you think you want for your life. So when we start going back to our sense of self, that actually empowers us. Well, that's how I feel. I think it empowers us even more to strive for what we want and, go down the pathway of what makes us happy, opposed to listening to what everybody else thinks.
Exactly. And you make a great point because uh, what you're mentioning about thinking about what you feel is right for you and not doing things because other people said so. That's a great point, especially during these times when there's a lot of bad things going around and there's a lot of negativity. You need to control what things you hear, what things get in your head, and what things you don't want to hear. You are in control of that as well. And I think, for example, for me, COVID taught me a lot about my own life as well because apparently for the past 2, 3 years, I was like going for the next thing, for the next thing, for the next thing, and I was not taking time to live in the present and then celebrate my success, which is really, really important. Me as an entrepreneur, you as an entrepreneur, the problem which we often fall into, or the trap we often fall into, is we don't celebrate our success. And then we just keep going for the next thing, for the next thing. So for me, what happened was literally happened like 2 months ago, where I think we are in September right now. So this happened probably first week, beginning of August, end of July, where I started seeing my creativity plateau. And then I was not getting interest in what I was doing. I was not getting that passion, that drive to say, make videos, to post. And then I was also starting to gain weight and I was just binging on alcohol and junk food. This was happening for 1 to 2 weeks. And that's the experiencing phase which I was just talking about, where you feel shitty, yeah, you feel depressed and irritated because I tried a couple of things which didn't work as well, and that was kind of the icing on the cake. It was a trigger point for me to keep going down in that downward spiral. And then, as I was saying, I sat down and started just writing stuff on my thoughts. This is my thoughts book. So I always, whatever I'm feeling, I try to write it here, and then I keep looking at it every morning to see how I'm doing. That's something I started, and then I saw that I was trying to do a lot of stuff, and I started saying yes to a lot of things, and even things which do not map to my vision and goals. Right. So that was a learning experience, and I discovered things about that. And then I was able to pivot in the upcoming months in August and September in terms of what I need to focus on. I started saying no to a lot of things. And then in terms of my physical health as well, I started a challenge called the Get Focus in 50 Days Challenge. And it's not like for marketing gimmick, and I didn't advertise it because I'm doing it mainly for myself and my wife. So because I've been gaining weight and I've been drinking and eating and stuff. So for 50 days, and now I'm on the 29th day today, I haven't had alcohol or desserts
Oh,
for the
wow.
past 29 days. I've lost 8 pounds,
Wow.
and I'm getting more mental stability and physical stability. And then talking about adversities, when everything was going well, I just was telling you, right, last week my back gave in, and right now I have severe lower back pain. Literally, while talking, I have this towel in my lower back because I'm in a lot of pain. Again, adversities happen when you are focused, right? So then what I did, because the back pain was, then I started saying, okay, from the house, what I could do still to make sure I get physical and mental stability. So I control what goes in my mouth. So I started tracking food now, because before I was working out, now I'm not able to work out. So to cut a long story short, what I'm coming to say is, again, adversity is going to hit you every freaking time. And that's how life is all about. But then experience the emotions, and then when you start feeling that you're losing your drive, your excitement in doing things, those are the signs your brain is telling you, dude, you're doing things that you don't want to do. Why are you doing it? Keeps telling you, but we just keep ignoring and keep ignoring it. So listen to those signs, try to pivot, take a step back, refocus, and then keep going. So I'm going through the exact same journey right now. So that's why it's really interesting when we're talking about this, that I'm going through adversities
Yeah.
exactly right now, but it's just about, again, showing up, mindset shift, and then uh, giving yourself some mental space and giving yourself some grace as well, because everyone is going through these tough times, right?
Yeah.
And you just have to acknowledge it and then proceed accordingly. So,
Yeah, I love that. And I think, like you said, just said, give yourself some grace, like be kind to yourself. I think, as we are the harshest critic to ourselves, we are
yeah.
so much more kinder to everybody else. And I really think that that is so crucial, because if we think about the words we say, we think about the way that we treat ourselves, we would not treat other people that same way. We would, somebody's going through a hard time, we would show off and pamper them. You know, we don't do that to ourselves. So
Exactly.
we need to be gracious to ourselves in anything that we're going through, because that's going to allow you to have that thought pattern change, the mindset shifts. It's going to allow you to allow that creativity come in, because we're being so much kinder to ourselves.
Right. And so right now I'm talking from my office, and in my office, on the sides of the wall, I have inspirational quotes. That's what keeps me going. Because whenever I feel stressed or feel like not showing up or not doing the work, then these quotes around me keeps me going, right? So you need to find out what helps to motivate you, especially during hard times, because that's the key factor
Yeah.
you need to find. It could be the person you trust, a coach, or your significant other, or anything which you could find, or
Mhm.
someone who can motivate you. I think that's really important in my life. Yeah, I have mentors and coaches, and you were just talking about your mentor as well. I think during these times, that is another important aspect which people forget, where you can come up with all those plans, vision, and whatever, but you need something to motivate you to do that, right? And that could be something uh, like inspirational quotes, or it could be a natural person, or whatever that may be. And it's your responsibility to explore that and see what motivates you.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you, because what works for me is may not work for somebody else. So it
Right.
really is about being what works for you. As we sort of wrap up, because I could sit here and talk to you all day, because um, what's coming up for you? I know you've got your book coming out, so I'm going to put the link below, so because that's in pre-order now. Is that right?
It's going to be in pre-order. So
Yeah.
I just submitted my final manuscript,
Yep.
and it's going to be it's going to take 3 weeks for them to process it and put it in
Yeah.
different distribution channels. So in mid-October, it should be available in pre-order,
Wow.
and it's going to be available worldwide on Amazon, on any online place you get your books from. So
Beautiful, excellent. Well, I'm going to put the link below that people will be able to reach out to you and connect with you. But if you are looking for, a keynote speaker, if you're looking for somebody who is going to be able to get in front of your staff and really talk about mindset, be able to, really inspire them, Raj is definitely the person to connect with. So I just want to say a big thank you again for, being part here today and also being part in the magazine. I truly appreciate you sharing your story.
Again, thanks for having me, and I love uh, talking to you on podcast and with and off the podcast as well, because I love getting inspiration by talking to people like you, and also love sharing my story. So I'm really grateful for you for giving me this opportunity, and for people who want to connect with me. I love making friends and then networking and talking just like that with no agenda. So if you want to connect with me, you can check out my website, which is rajsubra.com. And I'm super active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my community, and you could connect with me there as well. So appreciate the opportunity as always.
My pleasure. Well, I'm going to put all the links below so people can be able to reach out and connect with you. Thank you again. I really do appreciate it. I want to say thank you to everyone who is watching and listening to this episode of the Corporate Escapist TV show. I am your host, Christine Inez. And remember to follow your passion and live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.